सबसे बड़े लीडर कौन है इस वक्त दुनिया के?
अभी मोदी जी फिलहाल में हैं।
ऑल राइट। यूक्रेन और रशिया का युद्ध कौन रुकवाएगा?
मोदी जी रुकवाएंगे।
इजराइल पैलेस्टीन का समाधान कौन लाएगा?
मोदी जी लाएंगे।
डोनाल्ड ट्रंप को कौन जितवाएगा?
मोदी जी जितवाएंगे।
रशिया में डेमोक्रेसी कौन लाएगा?
मोदी जी लाएंगे।
है कि नहीं सर? है कि नहीं?
पूरा भारत को तीसरे नंबर पे ला दिया मोदी जी ने।
कौन से मामले में
हैं?
कौन से मामले में?
इतना पिछड़ा पड़ा था, 11-13 में हमें स्थान था भारत का, 3 पे आया है।
3 में आ गया,
तीसरे स्थान पे आ गया।
क्या क्या चीज में तीसरे पे आया
है?
क्या चीज में तीसरे पे आ गया भारत?
जो हमारा देश पिछड़ा पड़ा था।
पिछड़ा पड़ा था देश,
हाँ,
तो अब तीसरे नंबर पे आ गए।
जैसे विकास में, कारखानों में हैं, कहीं विदेशों से कोई लोग आते नहीं थे, जिनको विदेश से जब कोई जाता था तो विदेशी उनको वीजा नहीं देते थे कहीं सरकार में।
भारत के लोगों को?
हाँ, किसी को नहीं देते थे।
भारत के लोगों को विदेश
प्रधानमंत्री थे, उनको तक नहीं वीजा दिया जाता था।
दूसरे देश वीजा नहीं देते?
वीजा नहीं देते थे, आने में संकोच करते थे।
चाहे 2000 का हो जाए, हम मोदी जी को ही वोट देंगे। चाहे 2000 का हो जाए,
बहुत बढ़िया।
जिस इंसान ने हमारे धर्म को बचाने का प्रयास किया है, वो वोट उसी को जाएगा।
ये बिल्कुल ठीक है।
हाँ,
ये बात
2000 रुपए सिलेंडर हो जाए, चाहे हम मोदी को ही वोट देंगे। मोदी को ही वोट देंगे।
अब तो तिरंगा लहराएंगे पूरे पाकिस्तान पर।
There is a tragic irony in the government's claims of success when desperate young people are queuing up to risk their lives in Israel in the middle of a war because they have no decent work in India. The unprecedented levels of unemployment have left countless citizens, especially our young workforce, with few prospects for a brighter tomorrow. Self-employment is unpaid family labor, which is disguised unemployment. Experts reckon that the growing army of self-employed in any case constitutes very low quality employment, and unpaid workers have increased from 40 million in 2017 to 95 million last year. You can call them self-employed, but unpaid workers are not counted as employed by the ILO, the International Labour Organization.
Crowds queued up at the government recruitment center in a public university in the northern Indian city of Rohtak. These men are jobless or earn meager contractual wages as masons, painters, electricians, plumbers, and farmers. They were there for a skills test that could take them to Israel for work. A country of 1.4 billion, India has an urban unemployment rate of 6.6% today, and more than 17% workers below 29 years of age are jobless. Reports suggest Israel plans to recruit some 100,000 foreign workers for its construction sector.
Modi ji signing deals with foreign countries to export laborers, carpenters, plumbers, other unskilled workers, foreign lands. What image do you think it will create for India? Because he's very aggressive on this. Jaishankar ji also very aggressive on this. With Italy to Israel to Germany, that's what they want to export. That's how they want to create jobs.
Foreign tourism in Goa is struggling to reach its pre-COVID peak. A recent report claims that there is a steep decline with over 1.5 million international visitors in 2023. Compare this to 2019, there were 8.5 million, a drop of 80%. Many of these tourists, once loyal to Goa, are now choosing destinations like Sri Lanka and Thailand, where they find cheaper stays, smoother transportation, and also friendlier policies. Compounding these issues is also the rising tide in frustration, of course, that domestic tourists are also voicing. The domestic tourists, in fact, are frustrated over infrastructure, cleanliness, and lack of safety, especially as far as women are concerned.
Visa applications are denied. It costs you money. And what price do Indians pay? About $10 million. Last year, Indians spent $10 million on Schengen visas. The visas they never got. About 670,000 visa applications were filed by Indians, but more than 100,000 visas out of these were refused. That's a rejection rate of 18%. 18% is still higher than the worldwide average rejection rate, which stands at 17.9%.
Illegal immigration by Indians into the United States has skyrocketed to raising alarms on both sides. New data by the U.S. Border Patrol reveals that over 43,000 Indians were detained at the U.S.-Canada border. And during this period, approximately 10 Indians were arrested every single hour while attempting to cross into the United States.
Is supplying us some tunnel boring machines which they make in China. What's the name? But China is not allowing them to send it to him.
They're producing in China?
Yeah.
And some component going from Germany, but
We
most
should
of it
stop
made in
buying
China.
German equipment now.
I'm good.
We just watched a video of an Indian minister publicly scolding, misbehaving with a German minister for reels, recording it, sharing and showing India's strength. And of course, many in the comment section will support minister's move. Say this is how India is getting very strong. There's another video of our foreign minister roasting representatives from other countries, showing India's assertiveness. What do you think is the goal behind these videos? The goal is simple. They want to show to the domestic audience how strong we are, which is good, but show all that in action, not on reels. You're not influencers, you're not YouTubers, you're ministers. The question is at what cost you are creating those reels. When you create such confrontational videos, will that German minister be impressed with you when he or she goes back to Germany? It will make you look arrogant. They will see that you are disrespectful, you're aggressive unnecessarily. Why? Because you want to create reels. Thoughts anyone? And by the way, if you traveled abroad and if you will travel abroad, you'll realize there's a lot of anger now against Indians, not just in Canada, in many parts of the world. It's not a surprise that we are not welcomed. Difficult to get the visas also. And it's a matter of fact that our relations are at an all-time low with many countries. China, Pakistan, Canada, Bangladesh, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Nepal. Nepal recently issued a new currency note, claiming that some part of India is theirs. So what's happening? Why is it happening? Of course, we are absolutely wonderful in blaming others. We can blame Maldives, presidents, their ministers, we can blame Sheikh Hasina, we can blame Trudeau, we can blame Afghanistanis, Sri Lankans. The list is endless, we can do all that. But a rational mind will also think, should we look at ourselves also? Something wrong with us. That's all rationality is all about. We will just say that others are jealous of us, that's why. Financial corruption, it has existed in the past also, and that's one thing. My concern is there any moral corruption that's happening? Let me show you another video.
कोटि कोटि प्रणाम, खुश रहिए। जैसे गुरु जी हम रोज 5000 राधे राधे नाम जप करते हैं, तब पर भी हमको घर पे सब कोई नालायक बोलता है।
कौन नालायक बोलता है?
मेरे पापा, दीदी बोलते हैं कुछ करते नहीं।
कुछ काम करते हो?
नहीं, अभी नहीं।
तो काम भी करो ना बेटा।
जो काम सोचे हैं वो थोड़ा कठिन है।
क्या?
हिंदू राष्ट्र के लिए सभी मूल्यों को मारना चाहते हैं हम।
किसको मारना है?
सभी कटुओं को, मूल्य को। इसीलिए नाम जप करते हैं गुरुजी।
They are laughing, thinking it's normal. Whatever is happening domestically will reflect it abroad as well. So we have a lot of hate against ourselves. So how is something wrong in terms of how we're conducting a domestic policy or foreign policy? Because this was not always the case. India did not face the kind of hate it's facing now, or at least Indians. For a long time, India was always celebrated, not for the power or economy or the market, but for something else. It's cultural appeal. It's culture, it's spirituality, it's yoga, it's Bollywood, rich diversity, India's pluralism, all of that was India's soft power. People used to admire Indian culture, Indian values, Indian heritage. Today, that's not the case. They question it. And why not? Look at them, how they're behaving. Will you allow that, many people come into your country in India and in Delhi, they raise flags of other country, shout slogans, request other countries to invade India? You won't allow that. And if anyone does that, what will you think of those people? If you had so much love with our country, why did you go there in Canada? You should have been here. Influence is important. Soft power is important. So anyone heard of this term before? Soft power. Soft power is a concept that was introduced by an American scholar, Joseph Nye. Anyone knows who is Joseph Nye? He defines soft power as the ability of a country to attract and influence others through attraction, not coercion, not by force. Instead of forcing others to agree, soft power draws people in by showing a way of life, by showing your value system, by showing your culture. That's how they connect. Joseph Nye spoke of this in length. We were all attracted to the American soft power, Hollywood, TV shows. Same story has been the case with India also as well. Today it's dissipating, but a few years ago, if you were to go to Eastern Europe, they all would have heard of Raj Kapoor. They'll talk about good Indian food, peaceful Indian people. They'll talk about, how brilliant Indians are, how skilled they are. That was their exposure to Indians. soft power. Why is it not called hard power? Why is it called soft power? And how is it different from hard power? Hard power, it relies on force, coercion. Soft power, on the other hand, is more about appeal, attraction. It's like when you see a friend doing something inspiring, you get inspired, want to follow that example. No one has to tell you or force you to follow them. You're simply drawn to it. Let's think back to India's influence in the past. What were some examples of soft power? Indian movies, Indian shows, they were very popular in Afghanistan. Aired on prime time, influenced Afghan society. Yoga became popular worldwide, path to mental peace. Ayurveda, Indian cuisine, spices, flavor, loved all around the world. Can you think how all of this can appeal the rest of the world towards us? India was seen as land of wisdom, a land of diversity, a land of love, a land of cultural richness, not the land of anger. It created a positive image about India, which is why soft power is very, very valuable to build goodwill. But now looking at those videos we saw, do you think that image still holds? Our WhatsApp messages will tell us, we are remarkable, Vishwa Guru, Naitik Guru, whatnot. People abroad, they are seeing and sensing Indians as aggressive, disrespectful. You have all the money to go to Canada, you have all the money to go to Bali for vacations, but you have no shame in stealing, be it food, be it accessories. What do you think happens to our soft power when we see these kinds of actions? Whatever goodwill India had developed over decades, all gone down the dust. Because then it's easier to stereotype others. This is their exposure to Indians. They will start seeing Indians as not a peaceful community, not a culturally rich community, but as problematic, even exploitative. That's the real concern for India's international image. Modi ji signing deals with foreign countries to export laborers, carpenters, plumbers, other unskilled workers, foreign lands. What image do you think it will create for India? Because he's very aggressive on this. Jaishankar ji also very aggressive on this. With Italy to Israel to Germany, that's what they want to export. That's how they want to create jobs. But just think, take a pause. 15 years down the line, 20 years down the line, what image do you think world will have of India? We're exporting unskilled laborers. Would this strategy harm India's soft power? It may perhaps make people think that India only produces unskilled workers, not innovators. And why not? They don't travel the world. Their experiences of dealing with Indians would be whosoever come to their town or whatever they may see on YouTube. And there are videos, how to steal, how to loot. Soft power is about building goodwill, projecting a positive image of India's culture, India's values, India's talents. If India's primary export is unskilled labor, it creates an image where people see India as a source of low-cost labor, not a hub for education or technology or culture. If foreign countries mainly interact with Indians who are unskilled in whatever task they do, it will form stereotypes. And that's already happening. India is already being stereotyped as rowdy. In the past few years, it has grown tremendously. Let me show you a few videos. This is Diwali celebrations happening in Canada. India has spent decades building an image of culturally rich, peaceful, innovative country. And if this perception is replaced by stereotypes about unskilled labor, chips away any goodwill. Countries that once viewed India as a source of cultural richness, skilled talent, they will say it differently. And what do you think will be the impact of those Indian professionals working in high-skilled jobs abroad? People will assume that they are unskilled. That's how they build stereotypes. Soft power is built on respect, admiration. Some may argue that, by sending Indian workers to places like Italy or Israel, government is creating valuable job opportunities. It's a good strategy. Remittances will come. Pakistan also thinks the same. That's how they build their economy. Remittances. Biases are real now against our community. And it's affecting not just your workers, but also skilled professionals from India who are facing prejudices based on these assumptions. It's damaging India's reputation as a country of professionals like engineers and doctors. People forget easily that they also a land of talent. India built a reputation of skilled talent in the field of engineering, medicine, IT. Not a surprise, from Sundar Pichai to Ajay Banga, they're all heading those institutions. But over time, what will happen? What message does it send about India or other countries? Germany and Japan, they are seen as powerful and advanced. The skilled labor gave them that respect. When you see a Japanese, you have this perception. That person is going to be hardworking. I've not met many Japanese, but that's the perception. Who you export, immigration policy, it enhances countries' reputation. It's your diplomacy. In today's interconnected world, soft power, an extremely, extremely critical tool. Countries that are attractive, they're more likely to build positive relations and partnerships. And they will also see easier visa policies. So what are the main sources of soft power? What could be those sources? So Joseph Nye would say that, soft power has three aspects to it. Number one, foreign policy. What's your foreign policy like? Number two, culture. Number three, political values. Culture is when which gets admired. What kind of values you set. The foreign policy is also important. Something that is seen fair, supportive of global peace. We just watched a video of an Indian minister publicly scolding, misbehaving with a German minister for reels, recording it, sharing and showing India's strength. And of course, many in the comment section will support minister's move. Say this is how India is getting very strong. There's another video of our foreign minister roasting representatives from other countries, showing India's assertiveness. What do you think is the goal behind these videos? The goal is simple. They want to show to the domestic audience how strong we are, which is good. But show all that in action, not on reels. You're not influencers. You're not YouTubers. You're ministers. The question is, at what cost you are creating those reels? When you create such confrontational videos, will that German minister be impressed with you when he or she goes back to Germany? It will make you look arrogant. They will see that you are disrespectful, you're aggressive unnecessarily. Why? Because you want to create reels. You're creating an image of India's hostility, arrogance. That's not how you deal in diplomacy. Have some closed door meetings, sort out things. When a minister publicly scolded a German minister, it doesn't reflect well on India's diplomacy. It is giving a clear impression that minister, at that time, he wants to just go viral, wants to flex the power that, see, look at us. What do you think will happen to a soft power in this case? It's weakened. Soft power is built on cultural respect, cooperation, goodwill. And diplomats, ministers, when they prioritize social media stunts over thoughtful diplomacy, it chips away any positive image that India has created over the years. If these videos go back, go viral in Canada, US, Mexico, Germany, how will their people react? This is how you treated a minister. And don't we see similar happening across our neighbors, with our neighbors? Bangladeshis, people in Bangladesh, they don't think highly of India now. In Afghanistan, same story. In Pakistan, of course, that's the story. Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Canada, across the world. Whatever we are seeing today is pride domestically, it is aggression, it's disrespect. Diplomacy is built on mutual respect, cooperation. But here, it's not built on that. It's built on viral videos. Nepal historically had good ties with India. Now look at them, the currency notes. What's happening to your reels? Your reels cannot stop it. They're becoming resentful of India. Same story with Bangladesh. Foreign policy is not just about Russia and Israel. Beyond that, the protests, the aggression, misuse of resources, conflicts, all of that can harm India's reputation abroad. It's already harming it. Instead of seeing India as a cultural and peaceful leader, seeing India as a hostile, disrespectful leader. And it's weakening the very foundations of soft power. In 2019, Goa welcomed 8.5 million foreign tourists. In 2023, that number came down to 1.5 million. In times to come, you won't see. But India was becoming number one. What happened to it? First and foremost, just state-to-state relations, put down the drill. And then it has impacts on track 2 diplomacy, track 3 diplomacy, people-to-people ties. And of course, then we can cry of racism. Behavior of Indians abroad, any of those Howdy Modi summits, from almost 9 million to 1 million tourists, foreign tourists, for a state that is reliant on tourism. What do you think will happen to those who made money out of this profession, the service sector? What will they do? And then you will see rising scams, digital arrests and whatnot. And those things are also going global. Anyone who is currently abroad sensing hatred against Indians, what are the reasons? Because this quadrupled in just past few years, 2019 onwards specifically. Please write down one question. What, according to Joseph Nye, are the major sources of countries' soft power? Discuss its relevance in contemporary world politics.